Hello, welcome to Snips by Kelly. Let's compare and contrast cardstock. Cardstock. Today, we are going to take a deep dive into the world of cardstocks and papers. We're going to compare the properties, the uses, and the colors to help clear up some of the confusion that comes with having so many amazing options. It's amazing that we have amazing options, but who knew that sometimes that would make it a little bit more difficult? Let's face it, not all cardstocks are created equal, even within the same brand. There can be variations that affect your crafting experience depending on your purpose. My journey with cardstock started nearly 2 decades ago when I began using cutting machines. I started with the Silhouette, and then later I transitioned to the Cricut after joining close to my heart. Over the years, I've worked with various paper trimmers, die cutting machines like the Big Shot, the Cuttlebug, the Gemini, and my current favorite, the Stampin Cut and Emboss Machine. In the past, I've tried everything from budget-friendly, which in truth I could say cheap, but anything from budget-friendly cardstocks to the most premium options. When I joined Close to My Heart in 2015, it truly was because of the cardstock. I was using my Cricut constantly, but I felt frustrated with cardstock that tore, that got stuck, or that didn't cut cleanly. And the white core two-tone cardstock was a game changer for me. It cut beautifully. It handled die cutting machines like a dream. It was thin enough to layer in multiple sheets in one pass. Now, fast forward to today, and I'm now with Stampin Up, and I'm exploring a whole new world of papers. And I will be the first to admit that it was very overwhelming at first. But over time, I've gained a greater appreciation for the different weights, textures, and how each paper fits my crafting needs. I get so many questions about cardstock, questions about colors and weights and how to choose the right one for specific projects or specific settings for specific projects. So today I'm breaking it all down, and I'm going to share what I've learned about cardstock properties and how they relate to my paper crafting process. So let's get started and take the mystery out of cardstock. I have quite a few things to show you here to compare and contrast the cardstocks. We're going to dive into the qualities of the cardstock, exploring differences in weight, colors, cores, and sizes. We'll also discuss how these differences affect cutting, die cutting, embossing, and paper crafting. Now, Stampin' Up! Offers both solid core, a single color, and white core two-tone cardstocks. Both types are high quality, acid-free, and lignin-free. Why does that matter? Acid and lignin are naturally occurring in paper products and can cause chemical degradation over time. For paper to be considered archival quality, it needs to be free of these components to preserve treasured projects for years. You don't want to spend time creating meaningful cards or memory pages only for them to degrade later. Let's first talk about solid core cardstock. The solid core cardstock is a heavyweight option available in both 8.5 by 11 and 12 by 12 sizes. You can find all 50 colors along with very vanilla, basic black, and basic white in single color packs. The only exception is basic beige, which isn't available in 12 by 12. The cardstocks are grouped into color families: subtles, brights, regals, neutrals, and the in colors. You can purchase color family assortment packs, which include 2 sheets each of 10 colors in the family. The single color packs include 20 sheets each for both the 8.5 and 11 and the 12 by 12 sizes. Now let's talk about the two-toned white core cardstock. Stampin' Up! Has recently introduced two-toned white core cardstocks, which is an exciting addition to their already impressive lineup. If you've used Close to My Heart products before, you might be familiar with this type of cardstock. Here's what makes it unique. It's lighter in weight compared to the solid core cardstock. It features a white core with 2 tones of the same color. One side is the true color and the other side is about half a shade lighter. These are currently only available in 12 by 12 size. At the moment, the two-tone cardstock is offered in a limited selection of colors with plans to expand availability in future catalog cycles. The current single color options are Petunia Pop, Bubble Bath, Lost Lagoon, Old Olive, Daffodil Delight, Crumb Cake, Garden Green, Pool Party, Real Red, and Basic Black. Additionally, Stampin' Up! Offers White Willow cardstock, which is a different white shade, not two-toned, from Basic White. Now, two-tone cardstock comes in 12-sheet single color packs, but Stampin' Up! Has also introduced two-tone cardstock packs that coordinate with their scrapbooking workshop kits. Now, these packs include 12 sheets, 2 each of 6 colors, and they often feature colors that are not yet available in single packs. So you can actually get more colors in two-tone that are not available in single packs by buying the coordinating cardstock packs that are named after the Stampin' Up! Scrapbooking Workshop kits. So you can see here, this is the cardstock pack that goes with Meant to Be, and it has all of the coordinating colors that are in the Meant to Be pack. So if we take a look at all of the brand new scrapbooking workshop kits in our scrapbooking brochure, you can see 4 of those colors that are not yet available in single color packs are available in that assortment pack. So you can see the ones that we do have. We have Old Olive, we have Pool Party, but the other colors in that coordinating cardstock pack are available in that multi-pack to give us more color choices. So looking at the storybook lineup, there are 3 colors that are available in that multi-pack that aren't available as single colors. Moving forward to Meant to Be, all of the Meant to Be colors are available in single colors now. So that one's an easy one. When we look at Everyday You and Me, there are 4 colors that are available in the multi-pack, the Everyday You and Me multi-pack, that are not available in single colors. So that really helps us to get access to more two-tone cardstock colors. Now, there has been some confusion. I had a site visitor who discussed with me not calling them just cardstock because it was confusing them as to what was two-tone and what wasn't. So the two-tone cardstock coordinating packs have the name of the scrapbooking line on the back, where all of the solid core multi-packs have the color collections on the back, like neutrals, subtles, and brights. Now, I'm going to pull out one of my favorite solid core colors, Blackberry Bliss. I pulled it out because I wanted you to see how rich it is. Now I have a blueberry bushel side by side, two-tone on the left, solid core on the right, and you can see that the solid core is darker, a little bit richer because it is dyed all the way through. On the left side, the two-tone is white core in the middle and it's printed on the front and the back. So the back side is printed with a half shade lighter. So even when you put the true side of the two-tone on the top of the solid core blueberry bushel, they are slightly off shade. So this makes a difference also in embossing. So we're going to use our brand new Wave embossing folder on a single sheet of two-tone blueberry bushel, and you can see you get some cracks and some crackle. And so it's because it is a lighter weight cardstock. If you put 2 pieces together, it solves the problem and it embosses 2 pieces together beautifully. On the solid core, you can see that a single sheet or a double layer both embosses beautifully without the crackle. So depending on if you want the crackle and the distressing or you don't want the crackle and the distressing, both types would work great depending on what your purpose is. Now let's take an emery board to the two-tone. embossing, and you can see right away that it distresses it and gives it a really cool worn look. Let's take the emery board to the solid core and nothing is happening. So you can see the differences in how one with the white core can distress easier than the one without the white core. So let's bring in the blueberry bushel stamp pad. Right away, you can tell that it's a direct match for the blueberry bushel solid core and that it is coordinating and super, super close to the two-tone blueberry bushel, but not as direct of a match. Let's go ahead and ink up the edges after tearing them of the two-tone with a little bit of pecan pie. You can totally see the white core and the distressed inking on the edges. Let's do the same thing with the solid core. Completely different inked look. Both of them amazing. Both of them have a purpose. I love them both for different reasons and for different styles of layouts and cards. Now, when you're using more intricate dies, let's take a look at our very popular decorative tree. When you're doubling up cardstock, which I like to do, I like to get more than one die at a time without having to crank so many times. But when you're doubling up the solid core, a simpler die with an outline seems to cut just fine. Sometimes if the die is more intricate, it will cut completely through the two-tone, both pieces, and you'll have a little trouble on the second layer of the solid core. Makes sense, right? Because solid core is a heavier weight. Now, don't hate on me because demonstrators everywhere have come up with solutions like a little shim or some other things that you can do, a double crank to help that second layer on the solid core. Just pointing out differences. All right, the other thing is the two-tone really does help in a lot of ways to give you a whole second set of colors. So you have 50 of the true side, flip it over, 50 more colors on a half shade lighter. There are so many times that that's an advantage, like a double layer on a card, but there are times when it can be an advantage or you don't want it to happen. So here's a little mini album that I made where in some instances, when you flip it over to the other side, I'm so happy to have a lighter shade and to have a contrast color. So as I flip through the album, you can see solid color, light color. There are some interactive elements where it's a solid color on top and a lighter color on the interior when the cardstock is connected and you've scored it or you've made an interactive element. And this works out so perfect in so many projects. However, there are times when you have to have it matching. Maybe you've made an interactive element on a card, and when you fold the card over and it's flush, you really need to be all of the folded elements to be identical colors to make that card pattern work. In this instance, the two-tone would not work very well if you're using all one piece and you're scoring it. So let's take a look at this wildflower birthday interactive card that I made. You can see that one of the fold over flaps is on the light side and the other two fold over flaps is on the dark side. If you're going for that look, perfect. But if you need them to be the same color, you're going to want to use the solid core cardstock. Let's take a look at some dies and the convenience of the two-tone where you can cut all of the dies out in the same color, but flip those over to make beautiful layered flowers with two-toned colors in them. Only one cardstock is needed when you're using two-tone. And so you would not get that effect with your solid core. Now, what about punches? I think it would be a great thing if you could punch one color and get 2 colors of leaves out of it. So typically you punch your color and all of your leaves are the same color. Now, one little hitch in this is that sometimes if you push hard on your punch, the back side can get a little bit of fraying on it. If you're going to ink the edges of the back side, no problem. Or if you're going to distress the edges of the back side, no problem. You would end up with leaves of both colors. So if you wanted one leaf to be light and one leaf to be dark, the two-tone would work perfect. Now, if you take a more gentler approach and you don't push quite so hard on your punch, then you won't end up with those frayed edges on the back side. Now, let's talk about Cricut cutting. When I'm Cricut cutting two-toned white core, I cut on the light or the medium setting. I use the default setting on my Cricut. I cut on the medium setting and it cuts out perfectly. Now, one thing I do love about the two-tone is I can use the flip tool on the Cricut and I can flip and offset, but cut both of those pieces on the same side without unloading my paper and reloading another color and make a gorgeous offset. Now on the solid core cardstock, I always cut on heavy. It has a more porous feeling to it and it can shred a little easier and little particles can come loose. Now, does the layered look on an offset look beautiful? Absolutely. Does it cut beautifully on the heavy setting? Absolutely. You can run into more particles on the heavier cardstock that can get underneath your needle, so you'll want to clean your needle more often. It also does shred a little bit of the paper onto your mats. So you can see on the left mat that's cut with the two-tone, it gets dirty and yucky also. All the mats do, but there's a little bit of residual paper shred from the solid core paper on the Cricut mat from that. Now let's talk about basic white. So we have white willow cardstock and basic white cardstock. So basic white cardstock, you can see, is a little bit of a darker shade of white than willow white. And then when you compare that to very vanilla, the actual basic white almost reminds me of a cardstock color we had in Close to My Heart called French Vanilla. I love having all 3 colors of the white. Now let's talk about basic black and two-tone black. What I do love about solid core is the brightness of the black. What I do love about two-tone black is that it has gray on the back and black on the front. Then you can see with natural oils on your hands with the two-tone black, it does have a tendency to leave fingerprints. Solid core black does not. So there's advantages and disadvantages of both. There are times you want a brighter black and a lighter black, and you definitely just need to wash your hands with two-tone. I hope that that has helped you see some distinct differences between the types of cardstocks that we have to offer. I truly love them both. I have uses for them both. There are pros and cons to them both, and I love that we have all 50 colors in solid core and that we will soon have all 50 colors in two-tone. And I'm super excited about what the future holds for us with all of our amazing options. I would love to hear your thoughts and your favorites and what you think about the different cardstock weights and styles, any challenges that you might have had, or any solutions also that may have worked really well for you for any of those things that might have been a little bit more difficult. Thanks so much for watching. And if you thought that this was helpful, I would love for you to give me a thumbs up. Hit like, subscribe, the notifications bell, and come back soon for more tips, tricks, and fun creations here on Snips by Kelly. Have a great night, everybody. Bye-bye.